the baseball community that has started to come together to really help promote the sport.
Really, it's a renaissance going on with baseball in our region.
The likelihood of actually making money playing baseball, that doesn't really happen, right?
Mhm.
So how do you maintain working together and doing these serious things to grow the game and the childhood joy of playing a really fun game? Hearing that, I think the work that you guys are doing, you should be proud of that work. Everybody involved, understanding that ballet of movements that everybody has to make depending on where the ball are and where the runner are and everything like that. Welcome back, Barflies fans. It has been a long time. That's completely my fault. Uh, Summertime is crazy, and the Barflies have been busy, busy, busy as well. Not just with baseball, but with lots of other things. And those are the sort of things we want to get into here with my good friend and one of the fearless leaders of the organization, Pete Burgee. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing just wonderful. We've had a nice little cool off here, so before summer ramps up again, a little false fall, and so I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah, I heard you went to a game the other day.
I did. Me and my son went and saw the Cleveland Guardians take on the what's left of the Minnesota Twins after they traded half of their team away. And it was a great time. It was a beautiful day, and it's always fun to spend time at the ballpark.
Nice, nice.
So, with that, I mean, there's a lot to cover. There's no way we're going to get it all in today, but we're going to try to talk about some of these things that you've got going on. The over the years, the stuff that you guys have been doing has always been exciting and adding new things, and so we want to get into some of that. What you've been doing this year, and I promise at some point we'll talk a little bit about baseball.
Sure. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on.
So I know some things that we've talked about in the past is your involvement with the local schools and kind of bringing baseball to some of the youth in the area. And it's been a while since we had an update on that. So uh, if you could take some time and kind of fill us in, see where things are with that, what you guys have been doing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so we've talked about earlier, we've worked with the AKS school for last year with some of their with their sixth graders, and we've continued that this year as well, and we're planning to continue with that. We've partnered with the Westfalenbanden, and they've been supporting us going into schools and doing what's called like the Schnupper Korsen, so school baseball over here, where it's kind of a simplified game, kind of similar to something that they do here in Germany called Brennball. What we do is we pull out the mats and have, rather than a small little base, we have a mat and kind of talk through three small rules to start them off with. You can't pass a runner. You can't have more than two people on a base at the same time, and you have to be physically on the mat before the ball gets back to a central point. So we make a hula hoop for the pitcher's mound. So
Okay.
very simple. You know, we start them off on a tee. Here's uh, a yeah, a foam ball and a plastic bat, and just get them started and just right into the playing, and all the kids have fun. We've been doing that now with several schools, and always looking for more. We have another school joining us then in this fall, and so we've done that. We've also expanded from last year. Last year we did the sports event for the Regenbogenschule, and we did that again this year. This year as well, we went off and had another school as part of it, and used from a new object from the Westfalenbande. They call it the batting champ. It's
Okay.
really cool. And what it is, it's a huge inflatable. So think, the inflatable slides or the inflatable bouncy houses,
Bouncy house. Yeah,
buses,
absolutely.
so it's got that inflatable aspect to it, and when you set it up, it just attracts kids. And principle is easy. It has a through the air that's coming through the air pressure, it has a built-in tee, and so the ball's just kind of hovering there in the air. So that's the first wonderment for the kids. They're like, oh, wow, trying to get that balance there on the on that pillar of air. And then just hitting on the back, there's a target, with various numbers, it's like here's 70 points, here's 20 points, here's 30 points, and you're just trying to get it in. And they that was like awesome, right? For these school events, something different than the bouncy castle, something different than maybe um, a sack race or long jump and things like that. So,
Sure. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, and I mean, kids are a sucker for a bouncy house, and that's a really neat opportunity. And then it gets them into thinking about what it takes to swing that bat at the ball without them even really thinking about it. They're just having fun.
right, right.
Um,
In the pauses, we had the teachers there trying their luck, the parents coming in,
of
oh, I want to try
course,
too.
of course,
Yep.
and then good luck getting the parents out of there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, since it's such the attraction, it's something new, something that German kids really don't have exposure to when uh, when they're being raised through the school systems or through the sports clubs around here. Baseball is that niche, is that a novel
Hmm.
sport, and having that available to try out, just swing, have your luck. There's no rules, no running around. Just, can you hit the ball, right? And
Yeah.
that in and of itself is a challenge for several people, but after a few swings, they kind of get it in, and we had a couple instances where maybe this is kind of going into some of the other stuff where we've lent that out for some of the events that we've done around the town, and you just have lines, and you have people just coming back in, standing in line, waiting again, and you know when it's time to tear down, we're the last ones to tear down because we have to tell kids, sorry, it's the event's over, which is always a tough call to make sometimes. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, that leads us right into, you've kind of expanded your universe of what you're doing, and you're getting really involved with the community and some of those public events. So, like, you've taken your bouncy house out to the public events. What kind of a public events are you doing? Can you kind of talk about that stuff that the team is involved with?
Mhm. Sure. And so these are community events, park park festivals, family festivals, things like that of that nature. We've what they have the Burger Woche in Bochum Oost. It's the 46th anniversary of that, and so for whatever reason, we weren't dialed in and weren't on the mailing lists for any of that, and we made it a priority this off season to go out and actively pursue those connections. And so through those connections, we've been able to be invited to several of these events that are happening around. And like I was mentioning, the just having that attraction for that event really draws the crowds.
So when you're doing these community events and stuff like that, and you have the super cool baseball bouncy house, do you have like Barflies marketing things out there kind of for your baseball club?
Yeah, that's new this year because previously we haven't done anything like that. So through my private career, I've been to trade shows, and I kind of had an idea of how we kind of wanted to set it up. And what we ended up doing, we have a pop-up banner and we have a table. So we bring along some of the like a show and tell. Here's a catcher's uniform and the catcher's protection stuff. Here's a bat, there's a ball, here's a tee, here's a whole bunch of different things that, hey, it's not just a ball and a glove, there's a lot of things involved, and it's a lot of fun watching the kids, oh, let me put the mask on.
Yeah,
So
sure.
they put the mask on, and then the parents come like, oh, put the rest of it on. Let's get a picture here really fast, and it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And so with these community events, obviously it's just great. It's fun to be out there, be in community, do the festivals, the stuff with the schools, all that. Has that led to an increase with your youth program that you're trying to get going strong?
Yeah, so we started. last year with the school programs, starting small, just getting our feet wet, seeing what was out there, what kind of resonance in the community there was. And towards the end of the season, into as we moved into our off-season program, we had our first youth Ben. So Ben joined the club and started training with us on Mondays. And then came Megan, then came Simone, then came Phil, and just gradually more and more people have been joining to a point where this year we were able to have two youth teams, not entirely
Hey,
our own, but as a joint venture, helping out the Dortmund Rhinos with the U15, the 15U, and the Hagen Chipmunks with the 12U.
that is that is pretty great. And so then do you guys with your combined youth squad, do you have the opportunity to go play other clubs in the area, or are they pretty much playing each other or
No, they're out there. They're official league play. They're out in Paderborn. They're out in Farrell.
all
The
right.
Rhinos are also playing with Ennepetal, so we go out to Ratingen and we go out to Solingen and all the area teams. So lots of fun. Yeah.
So it sounds like the baseball community has started to come together to really help promote the sport uh, amongst the younger folks that maybe is going to help leak up to the adult teams, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because I had a conversation with another member of our board, from Marco, and we were talking about how kind of the history of baseball in Germany, where towards the late 90s, there was that uh, a real large push and a lot of interest in baseball, and it's kind of died down. But it's kind of at this point is kind of a changing of the guard. And I see that as well too when I look back at when I did the trainer training a few years ago. It was with Sebastian, with Kai, with Anna, with all these different coaches with the focus on building a youth team, with a youth program, looking at the Westfalen Bande with Dominic and Red, really going out and getting involved with the local teams to help bring the monetary support that's needed for the clubs to support these programs. And so I really it's kind of a renaissance going on here with baseball in our region to kind of, you know, look at building everyone's individual programs, but also having that network among all of these coaches to help each other out and gain experience from the
Sure.
others. I as part of the arrangement with the Rhinos, I went in and helped them on one of their days, on their training days, or helping out where I can with their um, uh, with the game days, or like scoring and umpiring, things like that. Like how do we shift responsibilities, as part of that league play, there are those responsibilities of scoring and umpiring and all that come with it. So really as a community, and leaving the whole, hey, you're another club, right? It's like, yeah, you're another club, but baseball in Germany being such a niche, such a novel sport for the most part, we need to stick
Really
together,
work together.
and
Yeah.
everything that we do needs to be part of, needs to have that in that global, no, not quite global, but the country wide, region wide view in it. So.
So then I'm I'm kind of curious, you take something where like that takes a lot, growing something like that takes a lot of seriousness, right? You need to organize people, you need to make serious decisions and figure out how to do that. Um, but it's a game. So how do you do all of those serious things and still maintain that something we've talked about in the past, the joy in the game,
Mhm.
so that like the likelihood of actually making money playing baseball, like even here in the United States, where it's a very popular sport, that doesn't really happen, right?
Mhm. Right.
So how do you maintain the competitiveness and working together and doing these serious things to grow the game and the just like sort of the childhood joy of playing a really fun game?
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great question, and it starts with the training, and that's where I'm really happy with uh, the way that we've been able to work our training program is to incorporate that right before the adult team practice. So what the way that we kind of do it, we start out at 5 o'clock is the youth team starts training, the 12U and the 15U, and they work through their practice, and then they actually go 90 minutes. And the last half hour of that practice, the men's team has already come and started their warm up about
Okay.
a half hour. And so there's that combination so that the kids can see, oh, hey, these are adults who aren't being paid. They're having fun. They're enjoying, and we're building the team as a club and not as here's a team, here's a team, here's a team, and they're all off doing their own things and their own organization, things like that. We're really trying to get that sense of community, something that um, it goes back to the whole concept of a Verein in Germany, the sense of community. It's as a unit of being there for one another. It goes beyond just playing the sport. It goes into being there as maintaining the field, being there for social events, having a um, activities as team building events and things like that. And that's what we're trying to instill as part of the youth program as well in our team. But also knowing that having that network with the other teams, knowing that they're doing similar stuff and similar practices within their programs, so that knowing, hey, if somebody feels more comfortable there, they can, just being able to transfer across and knowing, hey, I'm comfortable having, if I needed Sebastian to come in and help out with my training because I know he's in the same kind of style, having Anna being okay with me coming in and helping with the rhinos for that one training session, knowing, hey, we're interchangeable as coaches because we have the same concept. We're not trying to steal players from other organizations. We're looking at the foundation of German baseball going into the future.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. I like the collaboration. Like that's sometimes in the competitive environment that can get lost. The game is just the game is awesome, but it's just part of the whole. So I love hearing that. I think the work that you guys are doing, you should be proud of that work. Everybody involved, all the clubs. I mean, we're here to talk about Barflies, but like, yeah, everybody working together. Ultimately, like, I'm a baseball fan. You're a baseball fan. We love the game.
Mhm.
So it's good to see it growing, and you guys really working in that market to try and give kids another option to of something that they might be interested in doing, and then showing them like it doesn't have to stop when you're not a kid anymore.
Mhm. Yeah,
You know.
and and we're honest as well with the parents. We Liam, for instance, he joined in the off season, and he had some experience through having traveled in the U.S. as well, and being as part of when was he in grade school, like sixth grade, I believe, in California for a year with his parents who were traveling, work travel at the time. And so he came back, but being honest with him is because he's a volleyball player, but he was interested in baseball, and it just didn't work out in terms of timing and things like that. It's like, hey, there's there's the sport as well. You want to be good at what you do, and there's that level of commitment you need to make to any sport in order to learn it. And baseball is not as easy as kicking a ball around and running after it. And yeah, there's a lot of more strategy. So don't don't take offense anybody out there who's really into soccer. I do understand strategies and things like that. But no, there's from the intricacies of the rules, from the intricacies of positional play and things like that. There's 9 positions, 10 positions if you include DH, if you include coaching, base coaching, and all that stuff. There's all these different levels and layers to baseball that you don't learn it in a day, you don't learn it in a decade, you don't even learn it in a lifetime. So
No.
and being honest with anyone coming into the organization with their parents and being, hey, does it actually make sense? Yeah, we'll do everything that we can to provide an atmosphere to promote joy in the sport, to promote that Leidenschaft for baseball and bring that across. And we'll do everything that we can to support that. But at the same time, our interest goes beyond baseball. It goes to the youth development and giving them a chance, regardless of the sport, to go out and become better people and have something that they can take with them for the rest of their life. So if that's in volleyball, if that's in basketball, if that's in soccer, main point is that the kids have a chance to find something that they're passionate about and that they can excel in.
I I'm a sports dad. Like my kids have both played sports and done competitive things. I think one of the really great things about sport, whether it's baseball or any other, is it gives a safe place for kids to fail, recover, and succeed and learn how to handle that because that's the way that things are going to go. You get an opportunity to work as part of a team, right? And figure out where you fit in that team and how you can be most helpful to that team and learn to get better and learn from your teammates and learn from your opponents. And these are all like really valuable skills just being a human in the world. And I think giving a safe space in a sport for that sort of thing, and also saying like, hey, even the failure can be joyful.
Yeah.
We're learning and we're having fun. It's I'm so happy to hear that's starting to really go well, and you're working together across lines, right, with the other clubs to make that happen. I think you guys are doing wonderful work, and I'm excited to see where it goes as you guys press forward.
Yeah, and baseball, mentioning the failure rate, right? And baseball is you have to have individual contributions, but you also have that team contribution, right? You have the conflict between the pitcher and the batter, but then you also have the middle infielder with the runner at second. And, it's like you have all these individual competitions within any particular play, yet you need to function as a team because if you don't function as a team, then you're not going to win games either.
It
So
it is.
it's amazing what kind you're going to learn how to fail in baseball, but you're also going to learn how to have success. So
Yes.
that's one of the
No,
awesome things about it.
the greatest hitters of all time failed 6 out of every 10 times. So
That's only per at bat, though. You count per pitch, it's even worse than
it's
that.
exactly. So and it's one of the things I love about it. Um, Now, we've talked about the youth, we've talked about the community events and stuff like that. Something we haven't really talked about yet is baseball. So let's talk about where are we at in the men's season. What's the team looking like these days? Who's on the team? Any new folks? And what are we looking forward to as we get into the fall?
Yeah, so like after the season was before the season, and as they say over here, and since the end of last season, we've had well, I'll take it back. We for the last two games of the season, we had two new players that joined us. Yeah, so that was at the end of last season. If you include them, we have 11 new players between then and now. Right,
Holy
so
cow.
a whole nother team, right? And so it's really amazing to see this team how they're helping each other and building together, right? With this influx of new people, it can be a challenge to kind of see where that chemistry goes. On top of those 11 players, we have three returning veterans, so shout out to Demi, Daniel, and Lara for coming back, finding their way back to the team. Their experience really helps, and it looking at you know they didn't all come at once, right? It's been here
Sure.
come here someone, so like Jackie joined after Fabiano and Dan at the end of last season. So Jackie joined and then came in Kylo and then Karina and then so it's been a steady influx of new players and
Yeah.
which in one way is a challenge as a coach, right? Because you're constantly going back. teaching the basics. Here's how to field, here's how to throw, here's how to bat, here's, going through all the rules, running the first base, running the second, what's a catch, what's an out, what's a, so it's really a challenge because you get a sense of, you know, I've said that already, right? But okay, no, you're somebody else, right? But it's really also been a blessing in a way where you have this constant knowledge level increasing for every player. So as every player starts increasing their knowledge, they're able to go back and, okay, hey, I have this phase behind me this past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and now I can help the next person come in and say, hey, you know, there's a process here, let's follow the process and you'll get there, right? And so everybody new coming in sees the progress of somebody who's joined 6 months ago, right?
Hmm.
And being able to have that and see how the team has come together. Now that leads into the season, coming into the season, high hopes, looking at the schedule and, where everybody is the same. We're actually down a team this year, the Dortmund, their team moved down. And actually in Dortmund, there's a new club also in Dortmund. So Dortmund now has two clubs. But that aside, that's a whole different story. Heading into our league, we had the same group as last year. So the same teams were facing the same teams. So we kind of know them. We kind of know uh, what our strengths and weaknesses are. And um, the schedule looked really good. It's like, okay, we get this. That's good. That's going to be a challenge. We'll have to fight for that one. And but when we got into the games, it was just missing something, right? Is like we lose by a point. It's like going away to Hagen, 9 innings. It comes down to a walk-off wild pitch in the bottom of the ninth,
Oof.
right? It's like, okay, where, and then you look back at the game. It's like, oh, just that one thing could have made a difference, or just that one thing could have made a difference, right? Um, Lipstadt at home, same thing. It's like it's just kind of everything was missing. It's like either we have good hitting, but poor base running, we get out of the bases. Okay, well, let's work on base running. So then we'd have good base running, but we didn't work because we didn't get on base. Or um, fielding was a challenge, and we just couldn't get out of the inning. And so we'd work on those things, and we'd improve, and we'd show improvement in the next game. But because we improved so much in there, it's like we kind of lacked
Right.
some of the concentration in those other areas. And um, but kudos to the team, right? Because you lose 8 in a row, and you lose people, right? But this team, is like like just seeing them come together, veterans, new guys, it's like it's just supporting everybody, supporting each other, and like, hey, we got it, we're right there, we're right on the cusp, right? And going to our away game into Lipstadt is like it all came together, right? We we had home runs, we had good base running, we had good pitching, it's like it all came together in Lipstadt, right? So a lot of fun to see that, and that's baseball adult team in a nutshell. But yeah.
So when does season fire back up then? Are you coming out of summer break or has that already happened?
Yeah, we actually only have 3 games left of the season. It starts at the end of August, the last weekend of August, and then a couple games in September. It's going to be fun. We're going away to Minden. We're going away to Paderborn. Paderborn has a new field. They've gone artificial turf, flown in the artificial field that you see in all the college stadiums in the
Hmm.
US. So it's going to be very interesting to play on that field for the first time coming up in a night game as well. So
Oh, fun.
under the lights, yeah. And then finally, we have our final game of the season, Rhina at home.
All right.
So wrap it up. Yeah,
Well, it's great to hear about the team coming together and learning. And when you have that many new players, it's outcomes can be rough,
right.
right? Outcomes can be rough, and you have to focus in on process. And if you focus in on that process, sounds like teams focusing in on that process and working together, the outcomes will come.
Yeah.
The
We're
outcomes will come.
for special for the rookies then this year, and we're having a rookies day next weekend where it's all about the rookies getting their game experience. We've invited all the other clubs to anybody that they have under 2 years in the league, or that somebody who has like under 50 batters faced who wants to try to come in and pitch and get some experience there. That's our focus here in the summer months.
Oh, that's fun. I like that Rookies Day. An annual event, perhaps.
Hoping so. Hoping so.
That sounds great.
We keep getting a whole team of new players every year. The challenge as a coach then as well is the playing time. You see them grinding every single week being there, and
Sure.
baseball's not one of those sports where you can just kind of swap out the middle infielders
Nope.
or the swap out the middle defenders to and let them run around, and they just have to keep the ball from getting into the square thing at the other side, right? No, you need to teach them first base. You need to teach them third base. You catcher and pitcher, outfield, each position has its own set of challenges and own sets of movements that you need to be aware of as part of the play. And that's not something that happens overnight. And that's always
Hmm.
a challenge trying to give people that playing time because you only have so many positions that they might be able to actually come into.
Right. And there's no replacement for experience because you can in practice, work on all of the movements. Baseball, especially defensively in baseball, it's all
Mhm.
if this, then that, right? If
And
the
if you mess
ball
up
goes
that, then
here.
there's that, and that.
Exactly. And so the hard thing is you can practice all those things, but then when it comes to the actual game, maybe only three of those scenarios really come up,
Right.
or three or four of those scenarios. And then especially with newer players, younger players, you the first if then goes sideways.
Mhm.
Well, now we have a new if then that we have to attack, but we didn't really work on this one, and that's how you get what we like to call in the States a little league home run. Um, the ball is flying all over the field, and the players are running around, and then you kind of look around and go like, "Man, what happened there?" And the only way to prepare for that is to see it, is to experience it.
Mhm.
And so understanding that that sort of like ballet of movements that everybody has to make depending on where the ball are and where the runner are and everything like that.
Yeah.
um, Only experience. You could practice it for 10 hours a day for a month straight, and then the game happens and it's different. It's just different when it actually happens because you have to make that decision, and everybody has to go to the right place. So finding the playing time is just hard but critical.
Right. Yeah, and when we get on the next call, we can talk about some of the ways that we're doing the training, and especially, with the to bring it full circle, getting the kids to flow into the adult practice and having that combination and some of the techniques that we use for that to help that.
I look forward to it. Um, so at this point, then we're ready for the last couple games of the season to kick off. We're excited about what's going on with the youth program, continuing getting ready to get back into the schools here in the fall, and bouncing in bouncy houses with baseball bats.
Yeah, more of that to come.
I love it. So, Pete, thanks for taking the time today. We will have to do this much sooner than 4 months from now, unlike the last time that we did this. Um, Hopefully, things will calm down a little bit, and we'll get better at scheduling it. You know, Work, kids, and time zones make things a challenge, but I
Sure.
think we can make it happen. So, thank you, Pete. Best of luck to the Barflies. We're all rooting for you guys. You guys are doing great work. And until next time, go Barflies.
Thanks, Evan.